Our story begins with Kenji. He was a samurai, strong and true, serving his master with all his heart. He was known for his courage, always the first into battle, his sword a blur of shining steel. But war is a sad thing, and one day, in a fierce battle against a rival clan, Kenji's master fell. The battle was lost. Kenji, now a Ronin, a samurai without a master, felt like he had lost everything. He wandered the land, his heart heavy with grief. He had no purpose, no direction. The life he knew was gone. Every sunrise was a reminder of his loss. The faces of the villagers he passed seemed to mock him with their simple happiness. He yearned for peace, a way to escape the pain and the memories of the battlefield. He longed to put down his sword forever. He knew he could not continue down this road. He needed a new path. One day, Kenji saw a sign pointing towards a mountain temple. It was called the Temple of the Silent Bell. He had heard stories of this place, a sanctuary for those seeking peace. He decided to go there, hoping to find solace and a new way of life. The journey was long and hard, the path winding up the steep mountainside. But with each step, Kenji felt a little lighter, as if he was leaving his past behind. Finally, he reached the temple gates. They were open wide, welcoming him in. Inside, everything was calm and serene. Monks in simple robes walked quietly, tending to the gardens and meditating. The air was filled with the scent of incense and the sound of chanting. Kenji felt a sense of peace he hadn't known was possible. He approached the head monk and asked if he could stay and learn their ways. The head monk smiled kindly and welcomed him. Kenji knew in his heart that he had found his new home. Life as a monk was very different from Kenji's life as a samurai. He traded his sword for a broom, his armor for simple robes. He learned to meditate, focusing on his breath and clearing his mind of all thoughts. He helped in the gardens, tending to the plants and flowers. He also learned to read and write, studying ancient texts and learning about the history of the temple. He spent hours listening to the head monk's teachings, learning about kindness, compassion, and the importance of peace. Slowly, Kenji's heart began to heal. He found joy in the simple things. The warmth of the sun, the sound of the wind, the taste of the temple's simple meals. He made friends with the other monks, sharing stories and laughter. He felt like he finally belonged. The memories of the battlefield began to fade, replaced by a sense of calm and purpose. He was truly happy. But peace is not always easy to keep. One day, as the monks were going about their daily tasks, a group of rough-looking men arrived at the temple gates. They were bandits, known for their cruelty and greed. They had heard rumors of a valuable treasure hidden within the temple walls. A golden bell, said to have been blessed by the gods. The bandits stormed into the temple, their swords drawn, shouting and demanding the golden bell. The monks, unarmed and peaceful, were terrified. The head monk stepped forward, trying to reason with the bandits, but they wouldn't listen. They were only interested in the treasure. They threatened to destroy the temple and harm the monks if they didn't get what they wanted. The peaceful sanctuary was now filled with fear and chaos. The monks looked to each other, unsure of what to do. Their peaceful life was shattered. The head monk, seeing the fear in the eyes of his followers, turned to Kenji. He knew of Kenji's past as a samurai, a warrior skilled in the art of combat. He hesitated, knowing Kenji had sought peace and renounced violence. But he also knew that the temple and its inhabitants were in grave danger. Kenji, the head monk said, his voice calm but firm, I ask you to protect us. You have the skills to defend this temple and the golden bell. We are peaceful people, but we cannot stand against these bandits. Kenji was torn. He had vowed to never fight again. He had found peace in the temple, a life free from violence. But he also couldn't stand by and watch as the bandits threatened his friends and the sacred temple. He looked at the faces of the monks, their eyes pleading with him. He knew what he had to do. Kenji closed his eyes, taking a deep breath. He thought of the peace he had found, the kindness he had received, the friends he had made. He thought of the bandits' cruel faces and the fear in the monks' eyes. He knew that sometimes, even in the pursuit of peace, one must stand up against injustice. He opened his eyes, his gaze firm. I will defend the temple, he said, his voice clear and strong. He went to his small room and retrieved his old sword, which he had kept hidden away. It was dusty and worn, but still sharp. As he held it in his hands, the memories of his past life flooded back. He remembered his training, his battles, his loyalty to his master. He knew he couldn't be the peaceful monk anymore, not for now. He had to be the samurai once again, the protector of the innocent. He strapped on the sword and stepped out to face the bandits, ready to defend his new home. Kenji stood before the bandits, his sword drawn but held low. He looked at their faces, hardened by greed and violence. He knew that fighting was not the answer, but he was prepared to defend the temple if necessary. I ask you to leave this place, Kenji said, his voice calm but firm. This is a place of peace and we have nothing of value for you. Please, go in peace. The leader of the bandits laughed. We know about the golden bell, monk, he sneered. Don't try to trick us. Give us the bell and we'll leave you alone. Kenji shook his head. The bell is a sacred object, he said. It belongs to the temple and we will not give it to you. I beg you, reconsider your actions. There is no honor in stealing from peaceful people. But the bandits were not interested in reason. They drew their swords ready to fight. Kenji knew that his words had failed. Now he had no choice but to defend the temple with his sword. The fight began. The bandits charged at Kenji, their swords flashing in the sunlight. Kenji moved with grace and speed, deflecting their blows with his own sword. He remembered his training, every move, every stance. But he fought differently now. He wasn't trying to kill or even seriously injure the bandits. He was trying to disarm them, to show them the futility of their violence. He used the flat of his blade to knock their swords away, aiming for their wrists and elbows instead of their hearts. He moved like the wind, dodging and weaving, always one step ahead of his opponents. The bandits were surprised by his skill and his unusual fighting style. They had expected an easy victory, but Kenji was proving to be a formidable opponent. He was protecting the temple not with anger but with a quiet determination. One by one, the bandits fell to the ground, their swords clattering beside them. Kenji hadn't seriously hurt any of them, but they were all disarmed and defeated. They looked at Kenji with a mix of fear and respect. They had never seen anyone fight like that before with such skill and such restraint. The leader of the bandits, seeing that his men were defeated, lowered his head in shame. He realized that they had been wrong to try to steal from the temple. He had never faced such a strong, principled warrior before. He began to understand the power of peace and the futility of violence. He looked at Kenji and saw not an enemy but a teacher. He knew they were beaten, not just physically but in spirit. The fight was over. We are sorry, the leader of the bandits said, his voice filled with remorse. We came here to steal, but we were wrong. You have shown us that there is a better way. Kenji nodded. It is never too late to change, he said. You can still choose a different path. The bandits helped each other up and gathered their swords. They bowed to Kenji and to the head monk who had come out to witness the end of the fight. We will leave this place, the leader said, and we will try to live better lives. The bandits turned and walked away, leaving the temple in peace. The monks cheered and praised Kenji for his bravery and his wisdom. The head monk smiled, knowing that Kenji had not only protected the temple but had also taught the bandits a valuable lesson. The power of peace had triumphed over violence. Kenji looked at the setting sun, painting the sky with colors of orange and gold. He knew he could not simply put his sword away and pretend nothing had happened. He had changed and the temple had changed. He was no longer just a monk seeking peace, but a protector, a guardian. He spoke with the head monk about his feelings. The head monk listened patiently, his eyes filled with understanding. You have found your true path, Kenji, he said. You are both a warrior and a monk, a symbol of strength and peace. You can protect us and still follow the path of enlightenment. Kenji smiled. He knew the head monk was right. He could be both. He decided to stay at the temple not just as a monk, but as its protector. He would continue to meditate, to learn, and to help others, but he would also be ready to defend the temple if needed. He was a Ronin no more, but something new, something stronger. And so, Kenji remained at the Temple of the Silent Bell, a guardian and a monk. He continued his studies, meditating and learning from the head monk. He also trained in secret, keeping his sword skills sharp, ready to defend the temple if danger ever threatened again. The monks felt safe knowing Kenji was there. He was a reminder that even in the most peaceful of places, strength and courage are sometimes needed. He became a legend, the Ronin who became a monk and then was forced to pick up the sword again, not for vengeance or glory, but for peace and protection. The golden bell continued to ring, its sound echoing through the mountains, a symbol of hope and harmony. And Kenji, the protector of the bell, stood tall, a true testament to the power of balance and the enduring strength of the human spirit. He had finally found his place, a place where he could be both a warrior and a man of peace.